All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you are, if you have any users that were unable to attend this session, as always, we are going to record this. So you are being recorded, and we'll post this to our YouTube channel. I'll probably also put out a follow-up email letting everybody know that we had a webinar and so that they can go hit the link from the email address and just take a peek at what's coming out because this is going to be a huge update. So first of all, thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully you're getting settled and yeah, we're excited to show this new version of eManage off to you guys. It's a big one. So if you have been to my webinars before, typically I just go through some slides and some screenshots, and that usually is, good enough to see what's kind of coming out. But because this one's so big, we're not going to have a ton of slides this time. I'm going to go over a few things that I'm not going to show off, but we're going to spend the most of this webinar in the actual application showing you guys how it actually functions. So just bear with me while we go through a few slides, and then we'll get into the actual software and show you guys what's coming out. Before we get started, as always, administrators, please, after the update comes out, go download your default grid layouts. I don't know that we put a whole lot of new default grid layouts out in this one, but it's always definitely best practice to go and download those. So it used to be in the file menu, big menu changes this time. So we're going to review all of those menu changes, but this one has moved to the help menu. So again, after the update comes out, if one of my administrators of each company will go to the help menu and download your default grid layouts in case we added any new fields or updated any default grid layouts, you guys are getting the latest and greatest. As always, we are all muted, so keep that mute button on to eliminate some of that background noise. But if you have any questions, feel free to chat them in. This webinar, I'm trying something a little different. You can unmute yourself if you have a question, but I will leave some time at the end for questions. So if something pops up, don't hesitate to go into the chat room and chat in your question. Ravi's over there manning the chat room, so he should be able to get you an answer pretty quickly. But if there's anything that you want to unmute at the end of the webinar to ask, feel free to do so. All right. So first things first, the biggest change in this update is a huge enhancement to the actual UI, the user interface. Redesigned our search menus, some of the toolbars. So there are going to be some big adjustments on this one. Again, I am going to go into the regular application and show you guys how this actually functions because it's massive. We are going to be getting rid of some functions that we might be used to. So the first one, as far as the search goes, I will review this in more detail. The search function, there's going to be no more right click, at least for right now. We're definitely going to be enhancing even this is like phase one of changing up the search, how it functions. There is going to be a phase two. I can talk a little bit about what I know is going to come out, but the right click, I'm not sure that is going to come back or not. So that's something huge that we're really comfortable doing, right clicking to get to a module quickly or history quickly, right click, taking action. It's not going to be there anymore, but it's a quick enter. I'm going to show you how to open something up, and then you can access all the same functionality that we're used to from the right click menu. With that being said, with there not being a right click, there's also no more drag and drop from the search. We're very much used to dragging, let's say, a bill to into a company record, or maybe dragging and dropping a contact. We're still going to have the drag and drop for documents. So that this is just related to the search functionality. But we did enhance it, and I think it's a lot more user friendly. You guys are going to see it in just a little bit. We added a drop down in the company labels. So where you would maybe be used to dragging and dropping a bill to into a company record, it's just going to have a drop down exposed where you can just grab it and drop it in really quickly. So it's still the same amount of time that it takes to, and maybe a little bit quicker, honestly. You don't have to, search for it, highlight it, click and drag and drop. We're going to see a drop down in all of our company record labels now. So we'll see that in just a little bit, and it'll make a little bit more sense, but just to kind of give you an overview of these big enhancements. Um, We've also completely redesigned the administrator application. It's just way more up to date, up to par with all the other UI user interface updates that we've been putting out in the main desktop application. The admin is just catching up with that. So I think you guys are going to be really excited about that for all my admins in the room. We'll show you guys that as well. Same thing for the QuickBooks integration application. That one's been overhauled as well. So again, just up to date, looks a lot like the rest of the program now going forward. Um, the integration application, we'll see that in just a little bit, but one of the huge changes there is regardless of the type. So if you're doing any service agreement invoices or things like that, it's all going to be in one menu now. So you just push all of your invoices over, all of your vendor bills over, all of your payments, regardless of the type of item that it is connected to. So that's pretty neat. And there's a lot of cool changes there that we'll review, making it a little bit more user friendly. That's the whole point of this, making it more intuitive for you guys when you hire a new employee, or, for those of you that have been on it for a while, this is hopefully just going to be some really great improvements to getting around the system. Also, there's been a complete reorganization of the main menus. So we'll review kind of where some menus have moved around. The toolbars, they've moved around a little bit. As far as the main menus go, we're just keep killing, combining. So menus that we know that no one is using, menus that kind of feel like they're all over the place. Our reports, you have to go maybe to search and reports and analysis to get to what you want to get to. We've just, again, keep, kill, combine, reorganized it where it makes more sense. Go to finance for all of your finance options, go to analysis for all of your reporting options. So we'll review those in more detail in the inside of the application in just a little bit. So hopefully you guys are getting excited about some of these changes. Just a quick little preview there on that screenshot, but we'll dig into it in just a bit. A few other enhancements, and just a little side note, as always, we're hitting on the big updates that are coming out. There's several other little bug fixes that might be out as well. So if you were looking for a certain fix and I'm not talking about it, doesn't mean that it's not there. If you want to go check out the full release notes, just go to your help menu at that top right corner and hit release notes, and you'll see everything that's coming out. So again, I'm just going to touch on some of the big ones that I need everyone to be aware of. One of them, this is not huge, but I am really excited about this. You guys know that I want to get you guys more, training resources out there, new employee training, continued education. We're going to be focusing really heavily on some of that documentation that we want to get out to you guys, including our YouTube channel, putting out more videos this year more than ever. So we have exposed our YouTube channel in the help menu that you guys can go take a peek at. What we post there is, if you're not aware, best practices, tips and tricks, how-tos, quick how-tos. We're trying to keep them short and sweet so that you guys can get what you need out of them and move on. So definitely check that YouTube channel out. As I mentioned at the beginning of this session, this video is also going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel. Some cool things here. I'm really excited about these fly out saved panels. One of the biggest, some of the feedback that I get from going out and training some new employees, that did I save it? There's no pop-up in the project record, the project information record, your contact records, your company records. As soon as you click that save button, we're now going to have a fly out saved panel that looks like that right there in the middle of the screen. It's yellow and it shows that it's been saved. It disappears. So it's just a little indicator that it has been saved and you feel, comfortable that you've done what you've needed to do. And it goes away. So you will see that fly out panel there, kind of a neat little addition. We've also updated the UI, the user interface on notes and follow-ups. So just, again, aligning it with the rest of the program, some of those changes we've been making to the buttons and the look and feel of it. We've just updated the follow-ups and the notes as well. So the buttons look very similar from all the other window updates that we've been seeing. Lastly, on this slide, we have, I have no screenshot of this because I do want to show you inside the program. The last one here is we now have the ability to calculate commissions on estimated cost versus actual cost. So maybe you're prematurely, needing to schedule a commission, the job's not done yet, so all of the vendor bills might not be applied yet because that's where we typically pull those costs from is actual costs, actual vendor bills. You'll have the ability just to flip it to estimated to calculate commissions off of that. And then, of course, if you need to go back and make an adjustment manually when you get ready to schedule the final commission, maybe you see that there was some actual cost that came in different from estimated, you can make a deduction, right? You can do a negative commission to balance that out. Awesome. One of the last slides here, there's two more slides and then we'll get into the nitty gritty, but inventory, if you have been using inventory, we just came out with some pretty large fixes for inventory recently. Some things that we're noticing as people are starting to use this. We added some items to the parts area of the inventory to be able to kind of filter down to certain things. So the first one here is about getting into your master parts list and being able to see what is actually marked as is inventory. There's going to be a little filter you can apply to your master parts list to filter down to those parts and make adjustments where necessary. We've also added warehouse and inventory type to the master parts list grid. So when you do some analyzing or some searching to your inventory parts, you'll also be able to see in the grid what warehouse those inventory parts are connected to and the type of inventory that it is. So it's just a couple of adjustments to the master parts list to be able to analyze that inventory in a little bit of a different way. We've also added an inventory issuance at the final invoice. So there's a pop-up that's going to take place if for some reason you didn't issue your inventory. So allocate it is what I recall that it's labeled as. Ravi, definitely correct me if I'm wrong on this. I haven't played with this a whole lot, but it's definitely being tested by some of our other users and our support staff. But basically what it's going to do is prompt you to make sure that you've issued the inventory. Sorry, pause just one moment. I have somebody saying they can't hear me. It's definitely going to be the audio on your end. Definitely chat in if for some reason you guys aren't hearing me. Ravi, can you chat in for me that you're hearing me okay? Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. Yeah, sorry about that, Elizabeth. Yeah, we are definitely recording it. Ravi, go ahead and chat in there that we're recording this and we'll post this if for some reason you're having an audio issue on your end. Sorry about that. So at the final invoice, it will prompt you that you have some inventory on that particular order and that you need to make sure that it's been issued. All right. We also reworked the issuance window in the inventory module. It's just a little bit more user friendly. So if you don't issue it at the final invoice, you can go and manually issue things in the actual inventory module. We also added a quantity correction in the adjust inventory level window. So if you need to make any, again, manual adjustments. And then there was a few other miscellaneous enhancements to the inventory module within a project. It's just a lot more user friendly. It just flows a lot smoother from what I've seen so far. But definitely, if you haven't checked out our inventory yet, there's a whole section in the help guide on inventory. Again, that's from the help menu. If you're not aware of our help guide, it's really, really useful. Go check out the inventory section and it walks you through how to set it up, how to use it, how to issue, how to allocate, all that good stuff. So if you're interested in learning more about that, definitely go check that out. I'm also planning on doing a webinar here pretty soon on inventory, so definitely keep an eye out for that web invite. A few issues resolved that, again, there's more than just this, but want to make sure the big ones are definitely reviewed here. As far as in purchasing goes, on purchase orders, we've sorted the phases by priority to match the bill of materials in the create purchase order module. So if you are possibly creating purchase orders for specific phases. Maybe you're just wanting to push out purchase orders for phase one or phase two, or Office 101 or Office 102. It's just sorted exactly to match the bill of materials, just making things a little bit cleaner and matching, across the board. Same thing for the second one here, increase the description character count. to match the bill of materials and the order entry. So if your description is modified or maybe it's been cut off in on the purchase order, the character count has just been increased there. Big one here, we've adjusted the PO numbering scheme. So now the as far as the numbering goes on the purchase orders, it's going to be that suffix that gets added to your project number, the -1, -2, -3. Now we just modified it to have 2 digits. So it's going to be 01, 02, 03. That way, when you're sorting and you're looking at how it shows up on your screen, one isn't falling after 10. So that's been a thing of the past that's been kind of annoying, but yeah, the numbering scheme has been adjusted to make to prioritize it a little bit easier. For reporting, the order status grid from the Today panel, that is going to definitely look to the yay. Laerdal says this is a big win. Thanks. Yes, absolutely. I love that one as well. The order status grid is now going to look to your user manager settings on each user record. If you aren't aware, um, on the Today panel, if you're a salesperson, you typically only see your own items because that's how your user manager settings are set up. It could be different per dealer. Everybody's a little bit different as far as what they expose their salespeople to, but best practice, our salespeople are only seeing what they need to focus on, their own projects. All the salespeople are running their own little business and want to wrap their arms around their own projects, their own orders. And that order status grid that we put out fairly recently, it was showing all orders regardless of your manager settings. So that's been adjusted. So that's a big win for the salespeople. Also, following up on reporting, we have an adjustment to the booking credit on the commission report. So just a small update there as far as what's showing up on that data on that commissions report. The booking credit is going to be adjusted to the actual order sell price. So specifically what is on each order, regardless of the booking credit. We can talk more about that in detail if anybody has any questions about what we're adjusting here on some reports. Also, we've added the phase sort to the BOM report. So when you're inside of the View Quotes tab, inside of the Bill of Materials module, we have a BOM report. If you're unaware of that one, definitely check that out because it's a good, nice, clean, itemized list of product is essentially what it is, without all the pretty, proposal data. It's not going to have the cover page and the summary page and all the customer facing stuff. The BOM report is typically used for like spec checks, checking your product against a drawing. Anyway, all that to say that it's now sorted according to the actual bill of materials in the View BOM tab. So just kind of lining those things up a little nicer. The service agreements, we reworked some of the logic for payments and invoices just to align with projects. Some of those updates that we've been making to the projects, we haven't spent a whole lot of time updating the service agreements because we work so heavily in projects, but we're slowly getting there. So the payments and the invoices just align more visually with what we've been doing with the projects. Other random errors, there was a dashboards error. If you've been trying to view your dashboard and you're getting a little pop-up about some credentials that you have to put in, that's going to be taken care of in this next update. So it should just open you straight up to your dashboard from the view menu, I believe, view dashboards. Also, one thing that has bugged me from my start of eManage 10 years ago, when you open up the alerts panel, um, when you need to open up an alert, you had to click in a very specific spot. And if you've trained with me before, I constantly drill in to highlight on those row headers and double click on row headers to open things up. The alerts was one of those ones that was kind of lagging as far as updating over there. You can now double click on your row header to open up alerts. So just lining up with the rest of the program a little nicer. That's what I have for slides. So I'm going to hop into the actual program and show you guys kind of these big user interface changes and how it functions now going forward. It's going to take some time. So be patient with yourself and with each other. Just like when Microsoft puts out an update or your Outlook puts out an update or Windows puts out an update, it takes some getting used to. You've got muscle memory there for years now, or maybe you've just been trained up and we've kind of taught you how to do it this way and you've gained that muscle memory and you're going to go down, to where the old menu was for a little bit and then you're going to retrain your brain and it's going to be fine. So just be patient with each other and yourselves. It's all for you guys, to make it more intuitive for when you hire a new employee. And just the user interface just looks awesome. So we're really excited about this one. Open to feedback, as always. Guys, talk to us. We want to hear what you guys think about it. If there's any enhancements that you'd like to see to it, it's for you guys. So just talk to us. Send those in to support at e-manageone.com, or if you want to send it straight to me, totally fine. But we want to hear your feedback. If there's something that we can adjust to make it even more user-friendly, we're going to do it. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. I just had a quick question come up about when this update is going to come out. Just a heads up, we are going to start releasing it slowly this week. So it's coming your way. We've already released it to a couple of dealers that have been, yeah, Ravi's chatting in over there. We've already released it to a couple of other dealers that have been testing it for a few weeks now, and it's being received really well. So we hope that you guys are going to enjoy it as well. All right, so when you first get in, I'm just going to talk about the main toolbar changes. You might notice that our bottom toolbar is quite different. We're very used to going down and seeing our activity at the bottom. So your actions to perform, your alerts, your leads, your follow-ups, all that activity that we're used to seeing at the bottom is not there anymore. We're going to move it over here to this left panel. So when you do get the update, I will say that I believe by default, it's also hiding this toolbar. I really enjoy this opportunity search and order search toolbar, but we're giving you the ability to hide it if you're not using it, just cleaning up the interface, right? And I don't know if you guys have experienced other pieces of software, but in other pieces of software, we don't tend to see toolbars at the bottom of the screen. It gets kind of in the way when I'm starting to move my mouse around down here and I'm moving it down here. I can accidentally hover over something and that's not what I was trying to get to. So we have completely taken away that main toolbar that we're doing a lot of activity down at the bottom. That's all going to be moved over here to the left. Again, upon update, so when this update does come out, it's going to hide this toolbar. If you just go to your tools, configure, we'll talk about these bars in just a little bit. If you go to tools, configure, and your user settings, which we've moved, so clearly I'm still getting used to this. Ravi, correct me if I'm in the wrong place here. Oh, I'm sorry, at the very bottom. So it was at the bottom of the tools menu before. It's all put into the configure menu now, just consolidating all the configure items. If you go tools, configure user settings, there is a checkbox in your personal settings tab. So I'll just kind of point this out. Personal settings, there's a checkbox here to always show the quick search toolbar. That's what this is down here. So if you uncheck it, it hides that. If you like it, turn it on. So you might have to turn that on manually after the update. All right, so that's that toolbar down here. You can turn it on or turn it off. And then again, all of our activity type toolbars have moved over here to the left. Okay, so this is the big change. You're going to start having to retrain your brain, your actions to perform. It's going to be over here on the left. Open actions. It acts the same way as it did before. As far as like if you don't have any activity, it's not going to be there. So if you don't have any open actions or you don't have any actions to perform, it's just ghosted from this side toolbar. So it can shrink and expand as you have activity. Okay. But it's just moved. Some of the items that you might not see here that you were used to seeing down here, I have any snippets fans out there, it's just tucked into the more. Okay, so if you have favorites or you want to look at your recent panel, I'm going to show you in the search menu that we've actually kind of combined my recents and my favorites all into the search menu now. So you shouldn't really have to go down here. But if you were a fan of some of these that were on the bottom toolbar, these are ones that we don't see a whole lot of people using. So we just kind of tucked them away. Okay, but if you want to get to those tasks or snippets, they're all down here in the More menu. Other than that, we should be pretty comfortable with what we're seeing over here on the left. What's a little bit different, our today stays on top. That nothing's changed there. Today is still there. No adjustments there except for to maybe that order status grid. But the big changes here are these two guys, the search. All right, let's talk about the search. So as you can see, my recents are tucked in here already. I don't need to go to a recents tab to see my recents. Search is going to be the main area that you're using it a lot. And so why not just kind of combine some of those cool features that we can take advantage of to get to things quickly? It's all tucked into the search now. When you click on search, it's going to go straight to project. That's what we're doing a lot of searching of, especially if you don't have your toolbar down here, or maybe you don't like that you have to go opportunity or order search. If you just go to search and you just start typing, it's just going to narrow down your results to what, regardless if it's an order or a project. So it's still, my main search, my search all. It doesn't matter where it's at in the process or the workflow. It's going to be give you the results regardless of where it's at. So if I just start typing, I'll see those results there. We still have some of those quick tools. So if you were a big fan of like F4, it's still there. It's just going to take you to the search up here. So if you do search F4, if you like your shortcuts, it's still going to take you to those quick searches. If you're not familiar with those function keys, we have a whole help guide section on those function key shortcuts. I highly recommend brushing up on some of those if you're a fan of those function tools. So yeah, search. Again, it's showing my recents and also it's exposing my favorites as well. So yeah, we got a question coming in about quotes, searching quote number, project number, name, all of those things. It's just now all tucked in one search. You don't have to click inside quote search. You don't have to click inside project name. It's just going to whatever you want to search by, you can start typing that in. So if it's project related, even customer POs, customer PO numbers, it's just all tucked into this one search toolbar, making it so much more user friendly. So project number, project name, quote number, customer PO number, all tucked into the project search. Okay. Again, it's showing my recents here. I can just click on it real quick and hit enter on my keyboard or double click or click this little arrow. Okay, whatever you're more comfortable doing. I personally am a don't move my mouse type person. If I just start typing and 7749 and without even clicking on it, it's already highlighted. So whatever it's highlighted on and you hit enter, that's going to open it up. All right. Same thing for company. It acts exactly the same way. Remember our company address search, company phone number, company name. It's all tucked into one search now. So you can just start typing addresses in here or company names or phone numbers. It's going to give you the results that will match what you're searching for. Okay. So how this favorites works, I really enjoy this. It's quick and easy to just add a favorite. You can see when I kind of highlight over it, it exposes this little star. Okay. I see a question coming in about the day planner. I'll speak to that at the end of this session if you don't mind. I won't forget about you. So in my search, going back to the favorites, you can click on this. So this one's already favorited. You see that top one there, how it's already got the star even when I'm not on it? That's part of my favorites down here. So if there's a project you're, really working right now, this week, this month, and you want to kind of put it where you can access it really quickly, it's so easy. Just click on the star and it just adds it to your favorites. You want to unfavorite it, just click on the star again and unfavorite it. Okay, but if it is part of your favorites, it will expose that little star from the start. All right. So it's the same thing with company. If you want to star it, star it. It will show whatever you've been in recently, your favorites down at the bottom. Contact, same way. It works exactly the same way. So if you're searching specifically for contacts, looking for a phone number or an email address, just start typing that person's name and it'll narrow down the results to whatever it can find. So, you can see it's showing Stefan and Stephanie. So I'll just highlight it, enter on my keyboard or double click. Those are the main ones that I'm seeing get used with this new functionality here. Okay. Feel free to ask any questions about that search. I see some coming in, search by PO number in any of those fields. Yep. And the project. So a customer PO number is a project related item. So it's just tucked inside this project search. If I just start typing a PO number, it will come up. Now it'll show the results of the project, right? So if a customer is communicating with you, hey, give me the status of PO number 15Z235, their numbers, whatever their number is, you just start typing it here and it'll give you the results of the project. All right. Lastly, we are thinking about, you'll see here, there's a couple of other items that you can search for kind of tucked away. The biggest things we're searching for is definitely this here. So we have what we, see you guys frequently using exposed. However, something that some of you might use a lot that from the quick search, do you remember how you used to be able to flip it to, let's say, customer invoices or bill of materials, and it would just take you straight to that module? You can do the same thing here. It's just tucked into the settings wheel right here, this icon. If I click the drop down, I can go straight to bill of materials. So I'll click that, click my project, hit enter on my keyboard, and it'll go straight to the bill of materials module. Functions the same way as our old quick search. It's just tucked away in the settings wheel. Same thing here for canceled. I believe by default, Ravi, correct me if I'm wrong, it's by default always going to show canceled. But if you want to filter down to not show your canceled jobs, you can uncheck it. Okay. That's kind of the search in a nutshell. If there's anything I'm missing, Ravi, feel free to. Yeah, canceled will be showed by default. So it's always going to give you everything regardless of the status of the project. And then you can open it up and uncancel it. Yay, getting some good feedback here. Loving the search toolbar. You got to use it and play with it. I think you'll figure out, how it works best for you and your role at the company. Everybody searches a little bit differently, depending on what you're, searching for. So all my quick searches, all my favorites, all my recents, everything I would need to search by, all tucked into one area of the system. Again, you can have this exposed down here if you like to just quickly search for something and type it in and hit enter really quickly. You can do so as well. Couple of other little changes here. We have tucked in here email now. So we used to go to main tool menu, new email. If you wanted to start an email from scratch, we should know that, majority of our emailing and e-manage takes place within the actual project window. We're emailing quotes out, we're emailing vendor purchase orders out, we might be emailing delivery tickets. But if you needed to start a fresh from scratch email, it's just going to be tucked away in all the new stuff. We moved our prospect also to the new button. So anything new that you would want to get started, those quick ways to add a new company, a new lead, a new project, they've all just been tucked into this one new menu. So prospect, we do have to click new first, then prospect, or I don't even have to click it. If I just highlight on it, it exposes it. And this all acts the same, right? We search, we hit get results, we hit new company. So just prospect is tucked away. It used to be exposed right here. Now it's in the new. I need to create something new. And then again, all of our activity that we used to see on the bottom is all tucked away over here on the left. All right, I'm going to open up a company and talk about that, the drag and drop being adjusted. Eliminated, I should say. We can't just drag and drop a company from here into something. It's gone. So if I just open up this company record, you're going to see that in every single part of the system that we see those address labels, okay? These little field where we typically see a company name and an address. We see them all over the place in the quote screen, in our purchase order screen, when we're adding vendor bills and customer invoices. Anywhere we see these little white address boxes, you're now going to have a drop down right here just to change it. So it does have to be in the system first. Okay, so if we're adding, go back to the very basics, we're starting a new project. We need to have our bill to and our install address in the system. And inside the install address location that we're in, the company record that we're in, if the bill to is different, and only if it's different, you should know by now, like if it's not different, there's nothing you need to do. You can just click new project and this is the bill to and the install. But if we're needing to adjust the default bill to address, just simply click that drop down or and locate it, or just start typing. So if I, wanted to bill to marketplace software, I just start typing, grab it, boom, marketplace software. Okay, and it's going to show your location name in case you have multiple of the same company record, multiple entities here. You're going to see that location name. So that's now more important than ever to use location names when you have multiple of one company record. That way you can quickly identify which one you need to select. Now, not a big deal just to select that one and then select the next one if I needed to. It's that quick and easy, but something just to kind of side note there. Yeah, question, what if there are multiple addresses? It's gonna show up as multiple company records, just like this. There's multiple companies here under Maharam. This is just a test database, so you can see like McDonald's, there's two different in here. You would just select it, that's that address, select the next one, that's that address. Hopefully that makes sense for you, April. Loving all the questions coming in. I'm attacking some of them on the screen, but Ravi's definitely answering some of them as well. So if there's anything we missed, I'll get to you. Location name does show on the invoice. Yep. So nothing's changed as far as how the reports show, from what I understand. So yeah, don't just name it, something you wouldn't want to. Yeah, Melissa, that would be a custom report. I got a question asking if you can remove this. If that's something all of you guys want to see, those are things, let's talk about it, and get that off of the reports if we don't want the location name printing. All right. Multiple company names, filter by city. Yeah, you just start typing the address in the company drop down. You would just start typing the address. As far as like filtering down to certain things, yeah, you can see that we don't have the grid here anymore, so you can't filter down. You can still go run reports from your today. So if I just go today companies, I'll have a grid from the companies today panel, and I can apply all the filters I want there. All right, we can talk about that a little bit more offline as far as what's showing up on the report itself. But great feedback. Send it to me via email. Hey, Stephanie, I agree with Michelle at Strategic Spaces. I don't think the location name should print on the documents, and we can look at, how we can maybe address that. But for now, it is going to print. Thank you, Ravi. All right. So that's a huge thing, right? No more drag and drop in here. We're just going to select that and drop it down. On the same topic of this drop down, we also have some cool little additions in the actual project window and the install window. So first one here that I want to show you guys, we're trying to improve the UI as far as adding contacts go and making it a little bit more user friendly. We're very much used to hitting create a quick, or it says add a quick contact. In the old version, it said add a quick contact. Now we only need to click this button if we're creating new, because what you can do is right here, start just typing the person's name and click, boom. Okay, no more drag and drop if it's not necessary. You can still click create a new contact and it will still look exactly the same. Okay, it's still going to show you all the results for this company that I'm started my project for. Okay, I can just, highlight, drag and drop, but this is a lot quicker, right? So if I know the contact already exists, I'm just going to start typing that name, boom, grab that, and it adds it in. Kristen, yeah. All right, we're still talking a little bit about the searches. Yes, first and last name, just like in the old Melissa at Ideals asking if you can search by first or last name. You could do that in the old version. You can do that in the new version as well. So if I started typing Pepper or Stephanie, they're both going to come up. Good questions coming in. I'm going to let Ravi attack that a little bit further. Hopefully you guys didn't miss this quick contacts here. Does it search all contacts or just contacts connected to the company associated with the project? Really good question. All contacts. all contacts. So I'm Stephanie. I'm not connected to Bank of Texas. I'm connected to Marketplace software, but boom, I just click it and it adds. Ravi, you're the best. Thank you for attacking those. All right, so that's the addition as far as in the project info window goes. But what you might have noticed, again, company records right here. You see these address fields? We're going to see the same drop down throughout the system. We're going to see it in the quote window, here in this window, in the invoice window. This drop down's added to every single company record label. That's what I like to call these company record labels. We did add, it's a little bit different, the plus button. This will allow you to add a brand new company straight from here. Okay, so again, if it's existing, just grab it. If you need to add something new, grab that there. All right. Another drop down change. So got a couple different new drop downs in the installation calendar because we were doing that search and drag and drop sometimes. Demo project 7749. I want to drop this on the calendar. That's not going to work anymore. So for those of you in my operations department, we're usually dragging and dropping from the bottom. But what happens when I need to resend a crew out for the same job, the same order? I can't just go search and drag and drop anymore, but what you can do is go File, Schedule New Implementation Item. It'll pop up with our normal window that we would typically see, and then you just select the project from the drop down. So if for some reason you're not seeing it down here and you need to schedule something for a job, you would just hit File, Schedule New Implementation Item, and then grab your project from here. Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you, Ravi. You can also right click in the calendar to bring this window up as well. So on this item or on this day, right click, schedule new implementation item. Cool. Some cool little changes there. If you did, let's say this order was down here, as soon as you select the order for this project, it's going to disappear from the bottom. So this is always still going to update to booked orders needing scheduling. Got some OMGs awesomes. Yes, I love these comments. Keep them coming. What else? Sorry, I'm just gonna take a peek at my list here. Oh, okay. Big toolbar changes. I kind of jumped into some of the details here, but we talked about this left toolbar and how the bottom toolbar changed. I'm gonna just close out of some of these so we could get a fresh, clean screen here. The top toolbars have changed quite a bit as well. So no more main tool menu. Anybody who was accessing the main tool menu frequently was probably used to going like main tool menu new company or main tool menu QuickBooks integration. Some of those are the main ones that I know people are hitting a lot. Remember, new is here now. Everything new is here. Main tool menu QuickBooks integration. Everything finance related, we consolidated into one menu. Finance is everything finance. So if you want to go to your QuickBooks integration or your aging or collections windows, those financial reporting that we see often, your batch entry, your journal costs, okay? Those are all under the finance menu now, okay? What we were used to seeing under batch entry was like some web service items as well. We've just taken those out and now it's on its own menu. So if you are aligned with a dealer that offers web services to process orders and acknowledgments and vendor bills, you're all going to go to the web services menu now. Big changes, huh? Tools. I know all of you know about our tools, configure user settings, second from the bottom. You probably heard me say that quite a few times. Everything configure is now in the configure menu. Okay. So tools, custom reporting, and mainly those configure ones. Anything that we're configuring as far as like day planner items go, which I'll go ahead and answer one of those questions. Somebody just asked if you could hide your day planner. That is configured by your administrator. Your administrator has exposed day planner items to you from the configure day planner items. So if you don't want those, they just need to go in and inactivate them. I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of the day planner items. So that might be something I want to talk with that company on offline. Okay, but a little bit of a side question, setup question outside of the updates. I'm not going to spend too much more time on that. View hasn't changed too much if I remember correctly. View, we got our master parts, our install calendar. That's what we're going to a lot of. There's that dashboard viewer. It's got the fix in this update, so you can go look at your dashboard, your day planner. That's all pretty much the same. From the file menu, we have put some user preferences in here. So changing your password or your color scheme, accessing the administrator application, that's under the file menu now. All right, so we got a couple of different things in that file menu, but pretty straightforward stuff. It would be what you normally see in a file menu in other programs. You know, changing your color scheme, changing your user preferences. Talked about the finance, talked about web services, documents hasn't changed. Human resources hasn't changed either. Inventory hasn't changed. Analysis. Analysis. We used to have, if you remember correctly, we had a search, a reports, and an analysis, which all basically was analyzing the business. Anything to do with what you want to analyze the business on, it's all going to be tucked into the analysis menu going forward. So rather than clicking reports and seeing the reports there, and analysis in a separate one, it's all here now. So analysis print reports, here's that commissions report, your sales tax report. The one that the menus that we saw underneath reports are just now tucked away under analysis. We've got some human resources reporting in here now. So rather than it being under human resources, it's an analyzing things. Anything you want to analyze, it's all under analysis, contacts, alerts, action items. It's all here. Window hasn't changed. Help, the only thing that's really changed there is adding that YouTube channel. I'll go ahead and say right now, if you are not aware of the help guide, this is a huge resource for our dealers. It's there for you. We don't need it. You guys need it. So it's there for you. I want you guys to really be checking that out. Give us some time to update the screenshots and the menus changes that we've just exposed to you guys. You know, the help guide is there to make sure that you guys, you know, can help yourselves as quickly as possible and you don't have to rely on us, or further educate yourselves on some e-manage capabilities you might not be aware of. But check that out. It's a great resource, but give us a little bit of time to get these changes documented as well. I think that wraps me up. Oh, one last thing. Commissions. Sorry, and then I'll open up for a bunch of questions. A little side note here, if you're anybody who schedules commissions, I want to point this out. I talked about it in the slides, but I just want to show you. In the commissions window, there's going to be a checkbox when you hit schedule payment to use estimated costs if you ever need to do that instead of using actual cost. Right. Ravi, help me out if there are any questions that you were not able to answer, or if anybody wants to unmute and ask any questions. Big one just came up. Project Spec 5 will work correctly. Yes, it will. The only thing that wasn't working was re-optioning. You've been able to import CIF files from Project Spec 5. The only thing that was really affected was the button within eManage that you use to specify directly in eManage, grab some onesie twosie type items to build a quote. That should be working perfectly fine with Project Spec 5 now. All right. There's a lot of questions going on, and Ravi's been great at attacking a lot of those. If you did chat in a question and you feel like it wasn't answered, I would say go ahead and please rechat that. I'll kind of open up for questions now. You can unmute and ask or chat them in. Mark, good question. A total office concept asking if the product images are going to work in spec. Unfortunately, that we are at the mercy of project spec in that aspect. They are not going to work. The images, as far as I am aware, they are not loading up right now. The biggest feedback I'm getting on that, honestly, is that a lot of dealers end up turning the images off on the quote. It's a little tiny thumbnail image. That's not going to make or break winning the job, a little tiny thumbnail image. I think a lot of people are turning them off because it's inconsistent. Not every not every cataloged item has an image attached to it. And so if some of them have it and some of them don't, now you have to make the decision, do I go add them manually to the lines that they don't have? Not to say that we do want to get this working. It's at the top of our list, but it will only move as fast as project spec wants to move on it. Diff file, I'm going back one. Oh, I am so sorry. Thank you, Robbie. Big changes here on as far as the admin application and the QuickBooks integration app go. I'm just going to quickly show you guys these two applications. It's so much more user friendly and super straightforward, so I don't think I need to spend too much time on it. Get my password right first. Okay, so this is the admin application. We've gotten rid of the top two basic menus that were up here. We used to see like users and I don't know, a file or main menu, whatever it was called before. We've just exposed everything over here on the left. Everything for the admin application has just been exposed, and it just lines up better with our regular desktop application that we've been using. So it should feel pretty comfortable. So yeah, you just flip between these. You want to get into action items, click on action items, it opens it up. It always only has one window open now. So if you're going back and forth between maybe the drop down setup and action items, you just kind of click on them and it will open it up. Active users, if you just click on it without hitting enter, it just opens up a user record and it just flips between them rather than having tabs. It's always going to have just your active window open. Let's see. I hope that kind of covers it. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's super user friendly. Any hamburger menus that we see in eManage, you can minimize them to give yourself some more real estate on your screen. And it just kind of makes the menus a little bit smaller. Let's hop into the QuickBooks integration app. Trying to keep up with all the chats, but QuickBooks integration app is now under finance. It's not under main tool menu. Click that QuickBooks integration. It'll open up in a separate window. It acts the same. It's gonna look different. So here's the QuickBooks integration app. What I love about this one is it shows me how many items are in those to send over. So no more do you have to go, through each one to check to see if there's something in there to send. If there's something in there to send, it's going to have a little number of items that you want to send over. Again, it's regardless of type. So if I have service agreement invoices, project invoices, same thing for payments, they're all going to show up in one window now. So no more going to separate service windows. It's all just going to be in one. But yeah, that's pretty much it on this guy, I think, is like kind of the rundown. It's pretty straightforward. It still works the same. You click on it, highlight, send to QuickBooks. All right, am I missing anything? Checking out the chat room. Becky at a duel, will the commission report now show totals for the project for commissionable sale and commissionable costs and profit if we choose to commission by project? That's a Robbie question. I'm sorry. I know right now it already shows it shows the totals for order. That's a really good question. Robbie, you'll have to help me clarify that one. Becky from Duel. If we can't get you an answer right now, we'll definitely shoot you an email and get you an answer. Michelle says that is already 100 times better. Yay. All right, chat in any lingering questions that you might have. Someone's talking about spec 6, which is, oh, spec 5. I was like, whoa, project spec came out with a new version already. It won't let me download. Oh, right. Yeah. Looks like Robbie's answered that one about the PMX files. All right. That wraps us up. So again, we're going to post this to the YouTube channel. If you have any lingering questions that we weren't able to answer, don't hesitate to send them in to me via email. I'm Stephanie, STEPHANIE at e-manageone.com. Comments, suggestions, questions about anything relating to this update, I'm happy to help answer. And as always, support is open for you guys to call in and ask questions. It's just gonna take some time to get used to, but I do think it is a lot more user-friendly. I think it's gonna be easier for you to train new employees on. Um, but yeah, that wraps us up. I don't see us kinda see the questions slowing down, so appreciate you guys joining us, and we will be sending out a follow-up email to all of our users with this actually posted the link to our YouTube channel of this video so that they can grab it really quickly and review it. This affects every single eManage user. So I highly encourage you all to share with your entire company that they need to go watch this video. It's a huge update. So yeah, appreciate you guys coming. And again, if there's anything that you guys need, don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, we will be in touch and talk to you guys next time.